Yo, what's going on YouTube? Jake Cameo from CoreGaming here, and today I have done it. I think I have done it. I believe that I have made an Ojama deck with even more Ojama. If you guys don't believe me, check out this video. Check out previous deck profiles so that you can get the rundown on everything that's changed. And yeah, so I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and get into this Ojama ABC, Ojama Pajama deck profile. So hyped. Okay guys, so just like always, we run our ABC pieces, and we are running 3 ofs in this set. So we have 3A, 3B, and 3C. And of course, we still run the two each of the Ojama yellow, black, and green. But there's a new card added to this set, and I'm sure a lot of you already know why, but Armed Dragon level 3. Not a very good card in itself, but it does let you progress and get more hand advantage in a way. So there's, oh my, like it's just so good to have it in the deck. Like, I don't know why I didn't run it before. I guess just because I thought I tried to think of having an Armed Dragon build other than the ABC build, but just having this card alone makes it worth it. So anyway, and then rounding off our monsters, we run the 1 Destrudo. So that's going to be it for the monsters. Very simple, very straightforward, easy peasy stuff. Now, moving on to the spells. This is where things can get a little different. So we of course run 3 of the best card of the entire deck, Ojama Simulation. This card lets you swarm the field, it lets you have draw power, it lets you bring back cards that are in the banished pile to the deck, it lets you recycle. It's all around the best card of the entire deck, and it's so good. So, moving on, we run 3 Ojamabc or Ojamabc. So, what this card does, if you're unfamiliar, send 1 Ojama card from your hand or face up from your field to the graveyard. Add to your hand 1 Ojama monster with a different name and 1 Armed Dragon monster from your deck and or graveyard. Then immediately after this card resolves, you can normal summon 1 of those monsters. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 3 of your banished Ojama monsters, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. So, the original, or the beginning of the card, lets you say you open up 2 Ojamabc, right? Oh no, what am I going to do with this? Well, you can send 1 Ojama card to get an Ojama monster and your Armed Dragon. So, that lets you do that. This also helps you out with your Ojamabc, which is of course in the deck, and it also does pretty much the same thing as Ojama Simulation. So if it's in the graveyard and you have your Ojamas banished, then you can use this to draw a card. So that does that. So it's sort of a smaller version of Ojama Simulation. So it's a really, really good card, just not quite as good as Ojama Simulation. But it's a very good card. And it actually helps you out more so than I thought, because it does help you out with Ojama Simulation, or Ojamabc, sorry. So, of course, Ojamabc, when it's sent to the graveyard, you get 3 Ojamas to your hand. It has to be 1 yellow, black, and green, though, so be careful. That's kind of self-explanatory, and those are like the bread and butter of the deck. You almost always want to see 1, if not all 3 of these cards. They are amazing, and they kind of run the deck for you. It's kind of like 2 + 2 = 4 in this case. So, moving on, we also run 3 there's a lot of 3-ofs. 3 Called by the Grave, just because it's such a good card and it counters a lot of decks. It counters a lot of decks. So especially in this particular format. So Called by the Grave is definitely a sort of staple card that's just absolutely amazing and can win you a lot of games. So then, moving on to the best draw power for this deck, in my personal opinion, 3 Hand Destruction. Now, you basically, again, I always say this, I always refresh you guys' memory. People are like, why Hand Destruction? Why not Pot of Desires? All this other stuff. Well, Pot of Desires has a very high chance of banishing your pieces. And while most of the time that's not super terrible, you typically don't want your ABC pieces banished. So they are very critical to the deck, and they are your they're what you want to end up on. The Ojamas are critical for your combos, but your ABC pieces are critical for your win condition, if that makes sense. So you always want to be able to have your Ojamas or your ABC pieces in your graveyard, field, things like that, where you can keep recycling them and keep using them with Ojama Assimilation and so on and so forth. So, and then a card that was kind of like a sleeper card. I may end up taking it out, but I don't foresee it anytime soon. Just maybe when something better comes along. 2 Link Bound, because it can help you recycle some of your link monsters, such as like Underclock Taker or something small like that, and you can get cards that you might need from your deck because of this card. So like, say you have like 2 Ojama Yellows, and you don't need 2 Ojama Yellows because you have a Ojamabc in your hand as well. Well, you can Link Bound, send back like Underclock Taker or something like that, and then send one of your Ojama Yellows back into the deck so that you can use your Ojamabc. See, it's a sleeper card. You don't really think it's that beneficial until you actually play it. So, and then we run 2 of the Union Hanger. It's just a kind of staple card for ABCs. It can help out, but it's not super important, so we only run 2. And then we run 1 Foolish Burial, because you want your ABC pieces or your Ojamas in the graveyard, or your Destrudo. You could even toss your Destrudo, and that can help you. There's so many cards in your deck, pretty much all your cards except, actually any card you can send to the graveyard, because you can use Ojamabc to get your Armed Dragon level 3 from the grave to the field. So you can send any monster in your deck with Foolish Burial, and it's technically a plus. So that's going to do it for the spells. Now for the traps. We had to make room for the Ojamabc, so the traps are actually a tiny bit smaller now. So we run 2 Super Team Buddy Force Unite. Very good card. It can help you out with getting cards on the board. It can also help you out if you want to kind of bait a card or something like that. So say that you want to play this face down, and maybe your opponent might think it's your other trap that's coming up. And so they might want to destroy this card. So they destroy this card, and guess what? Super Team Buddy Force Unite has the effect that if it's destroyed by your opponent, then it goes into the deck and gets another copy of itself and sets it. So it's very good, and it can help you out. And it's technically an Ojama card, so you kind of sort of want it, even just for meme purposes. So I got 2 Super Team Buddy Force Unite, and then we run 3 of the second best card of the deck, in my opinion. 3 Ojama Pajama. That's going to do it for the traps, but just in case you're for some reason unfamiliar with Ojama Pajama, this is basically your deck searcher and protection card. It does what you need for protection for your ABC fusion monsters, and it can go and get Ojamabc or get Ojama Assimilation or Ojamabc. It can search out any Ojama card and add it to your hand, and then you discard a card. So if you have Ojamabc in your hand and you want to go get Ojama Assimilation, you can go get Ojama Assimilation, then discard your Ojamabc, and then you get 3 Ojamas to your hand. Then you activate Ojama Simulation, swarm the field with your ABC pieces, and go on with your combos. It's so good, and it is super hot in here. Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe it's just because I'm excited. I'm extremely excited about this deck. I did not think I could add more Ojamas to the deck, but here we are. So that's going to do it for the traps. So now on for the side deck. The side deck, I feel like, kind of changes quite a bit just because there's so many good cards out there, but not really anything that's, you know, too particularly good for this deck. So we do run 3 Shared Ride. Shared Ride is a really good card right now because of the Sky Strikers, they're Sky Strikers, right? Not Brandish Maidens anymore. So because of those cards and things like that, so Shared Ride is a really good card. We run a second Destrudo, kind of just because there's really not too much of a reason. He's kind of just a space filler. He's got a 3,000 booty, so if you need that defense for some reason, then it's there, and so on and so forth. And then we run 2 Ghost Ogre, just because Ghost Ogre is Ghost Ogre. We run 1 Dragon Ravine. Kind of self-explanatory. It can you can discard cards like Ojamabc and stuff like that, and you can also go in and get your Destrudo and send it to the grave, or your Armed Dragon and send it to the grave, things like that. So this can help out with that. It's basically another Foolish Burial. And then we run 2 Union Scramble, just in case we go against something like Trickstar Reincarnation and things like that, and they happen to get our ABC pieces. We definitely need this for that matchup. Then we run 1 Jar of Avarice, just in case we, for some reason, run a deck that's kind of stally or something like that, that we end up, you know, kind of getting rid of a lot of our pieces, or they end up getting rid of a lot of our pieces. Not ABC pieces, but like our fusion monsters or something like that, or our link monsters, and we need to recycle them better. Then we get the Jar of Avarice here to try to help us out with that. And then we run a Clayfort Genius because it's just a really good card. Then we run the Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin. Then we run a Tornado Dragon. And then we run a Clearwing Synchro Dragon. And I actually had Link Spider in here. That's not supposed to be in here because in a previous build I was running like Scapegoats and stuff like that, trying to figure something out. So this could be just about anything you want, I suppose. Really, these last 2 cards here, the Clearwing and the Link Spider, aren't super important, so you could probably just switch those out for whatever you want. Alright, so on to the extra deck. Of course, we run 3 ABC Dragon Buster. This card is just basically, again, like the bread and butter of the deck. It's the card you want to go into the most. It's going to be your game winner, things like that. You typically, with this deck, you'll try to get as many cards on the field as you can, like link monsters and all that, but you always want to end with this card or multiples of this card. So, and then we run a new card I've added is we run an A to Z Dragon Buster Cannon, just because while we can't summon ABC Dragon Buster from the extra deck, if it happens to go to our grave, we can still use Ojama Simulation, revealing this and summoning this from the grave. So it's basically, if ABC Dragon Buster goes to the grave, we can use Ojama Simulation as a sort of monster reborn. So it's really good that way. So that's why we made space in the extra deck for this card. It's just a really good. It basically takes the place of the Team Samurai Destroyer. So just because we have Ojama Simulation and stuff like that, and it just runs a lot smoother that way. And then we run 1 Black Rose Dragon, just because it's board wipe, and board wipe is amazing and can definitely help you out. Then we run 1 Diamond Direwolf. This card you can swap out for Tornado Dragon if you want to. I just kind of like this one a little bit better. just because it targets any card, and Tornado Dragon only targets spell and traps. So if you don't have Diamond Direwolf and you have Tornado Dragon, you can play that. Or if something's if you're not necessarily worried about monsters more than you are the spell and traps, then I would swap it out for Tornado Dragon then. But for the most part, Diamond Direwolf is going to be the better choice for that. Then we run one Clayfort Genius. Again, Clayfort Genius is just a good card, and if you don't necessarily want to risk swarming the board with too many cards, this is a very safe card to go into. That's why we run another one in our side deck, just in case we want to play it safe and go into one or two of these guys while playing instead. And then we run two Underclock Taker. Underclock Taker is a really good generic card to go into. It can lower your opponent's attack, and it's a really good card to recycle with the Link Bound. So, and then we have Nightmare Cerberus, a Nightmare Goblin, and a Nightmare Phoenix. Just a small Nightmare package in here. Nothing too big, nothing too drastic. Just cards that can help draw, and cards that can discard cards, of course. And cards that can destroy spells, or is it spell and traps? I think it's spell and traps. Spell and traps, sorry. Destroy spell and traps, destroy special summon monsters in the main monster zone, destroy, an extra normal summon. That's basically their effects. So all of those effects help you out in one way or another. Some more than others in certain cases, but they're all really good for the deck. So then we run a Decode Talker. You can basically swap this out for just about anything, really. But I find it, if you're going to go into a safe route or a safe play, you kind of want to use use these cards more so than these cards down here. These cards are basically just used to kind of swarm the board, get as much advantage as you can, and maybe even extra link if you're lucky enough. So that's kind of what those link monsters are used for. But the safer play, the safer route, if you're kind of worried, is these guys. So, and then I run a Triple Burst Dragon, just because I'm kind of a fan of the Triple Burst Dragon. You can run anything you want, really. You can run a Firewall, Borload, whatever you want. And then a new card I've gotten is the Topologic Gunblar Dragon. I've not really tested it out too much, but in theory, this card is actually really good for the deck, just because you'll typically want to have card advantage, or 2 to 3 cards in your hand at least. So you typically have that with this deck because of things like Ojamabc and stuff like that. So Topologic Gunblar Dragon can be very, very useful indeed. So yeah, so that's going to be the extra deck. Alright guys, so that's going to be the deck profile. So I really, really hope you guys like this deck profile. This is like my baby, this is like my child, this is my like all-time favorite deck. So that's why there's so much of this deck on the channel, because I'm always testing and always playing with this deck as much as possible, learning new things, trying to add as many Ojama cards as possible, and things like that. So it's a very, very fun deck, and it's my personal favorite, so I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, hit that like button down below. And if you want to, feel more than free to leave your comments and criticisms down in the comment country down below. And if you would like to join the Ojamas, we're a mighty big family, and we're growing every day. Thanks to you guys. You guys are so awesome, and I truly, truly appreciate it. All of us here at CoreGaming appreciate you so much, and we're so thankful to have you guys as subscribers, fans, friends, family, all of that. So thank you guys again so much for all of your support. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.